In a month, it will be 1 year since I started this channel. My original goal when I put out my first video was to hit 1,000 subscribers in a year. This channel now sits at over 10,000 subscribers, and my first video now has over 100,000 views. I wanted to start a YouTube channel for years, but I can never work out the courage to do it until recently. I told people about my aspirations, and my friends would always push me to do it, but there was always a convenient excuse there that stopped me from going forward with it. And I imagine it would have stayed that way too after graduating, but something happened that completely changed my life. One of my favorite artists of all time, Wawaka, passed away. I think I said this originally in that video, but Wawaka's passing was the first time a musician's death ever hit me on a personal level. I was sad, confused, but more than anything else, I wanted to talk to someone about it, and I really didn't have anyone in my life that I could turn to at that time. And unfortunately, I was kinda used to this by now. I took up a lot of hobbies growing up that I couldn't really talk to my friends about, and Vocaloid was certainly one of them. Of course they cared and respected what I liked, but they weren't invested in it like I was, and of course I couldn't blame them for that. So when situations like this came up, I would turn to the internet, and YouTube became one of my favorite places to go to growing up. I found a lot of my favorite channels by simply finding a piece of media I really loved, and just having a desire to hear someone talk about it. It was weirdly comforting to listen to someone like Super Eyepatch Wolf gush about why he loves Cowboy Bebop so much, and being able to connect with what he said. And I guess that was my introduction to video essays growing up. But back in present day, there was no one for me to turn to on YouTube like I usually do. Sure, there were plenty of tribute videos being put up in Wawaka's memory, but I sat there thinking, why doesn't anyone get on a mic and talk about this? A lot of you already know this by now, but I listen to a lot of music, and not just Vocaloid, but music from every genre for the most part. But while most people would assume, oh, you finally outgrew Vocaloid, huh? I never really did. In fact, I think my appreciation for it grew even more. I have a lot to thank Vocaloid for who I am today, because it exposed me to so many different types of music growing up, and it felt so natural as an adult to jump from jazz to rock to pop and so forth. And as I started to venture outside of Vocaloid to learn more about other music communities, I started to develop this feeling of jealousy. How come the hip hop community could put out half a dozen video essays on To Pimp a Butterfly? How come I could get a whole documentary series about the creation of each of Kanye West's albums, but I couldn't get one channel that was solely dedicated to talking about Vocaloid like that? So I downloaded a copy of Adobe Premiere, bought a mic, and well, the rest is history. What I could have never expected though was the response. All the heartfelt comments from people talking about Wawaka's passing, the people thanking me for making that video, it was overwhelming. I remember being at work and running to the bathroom because I didn't want my coworkers seeing me trying not to cry, reading everyone's comments about how grateful they were for the channel. That's the point where I started to realize that I wasn't the only one who felt this way this whole time. There was a whole community of people out there like me who wanted more for Vocaloid. People who wanted to stop making jokes all the time and just wanted to talk about the music. And in the end, it turns out we were no different from any of those other music communities. We just needed something to motivate us to come together. If I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I never expected this channel to get as big as it did. At least not this quickly. The idea of having so many people following what you make, and actively anticipating what you'll do next, it naturally puts a lot of pressure on you no matter how much you tell yourself to have fun and relax. But never think once I would ever take this back. I'm truly grateful for every last one of you guys. From the people who were following me when I only had 200 subs to the people who just joined a few days ago. So thank you from the bottom of my heart, and I'm gonna keep doing my best. My goal with this channel is to try and change how people look and think about Vocaloid. I want people to take Vocaloid just as seriously as they do with other music scenes. And look, I have nothing against the meme culture and Vocaloid. I actually think memes are a super important way of helping a community grow, and I've seen some incredible ideas come out of it as well. But the problem is the saturation. We've hit a point where there are so many jokes that we're painting this picture that Vocaloid isn't something to take seriously. But I think the worst possible thing that could ever happen to this channel is that we morphed it into a witch hunt, where we started to attack people for what they make and stifle creativity. Instead, I think there needs to be a healthy balance. One of the most valuable things my coach ever taught me in college was that for everything that we did as an individual, we were representing not only ourselves but our team as a whole. Our actions had consequences. And that's something I actively understood the moment I started this channel. That every video I was putting up, I was representing the Vocaloid community in some way. People who knew nothing about us were going to watch those videos, and it was actively going to change their perspective about who we are as a community and the type of culture we're trying to create. And that doesn't just carry for someone like me, but for every single last one of us. You have to realize for every comment, every post, every piece of art that you make, you're not only representing yourself, you're representing every single last one of us. That might seem super scary or intimidating, but it actually has a boatload of benefits as well. Because we're all in this together, it means everything you do, no matter how small it is, can help out the community in some way. So if you have a producer or a song you love, go out there and do something to show people why you love it. If you hate a song but someone else likes it, don't terrorize them for it. Instead, hold a constructive discussion about it. If you got an idea for something you think people would love and no one else is doing it, then for crying out loud, go out there and do it. Because no matter how small that action may seem, you're doing something to help the community and you're helping it grow as a result. Thanks again, guys, and thanks for watching.